Almaty isn't just Kazakhstan's biggest city, it's also the nation's cultural heart. The Astana Times team today is in Almaty, and we want to take you on a journey through some of the city's most inspiring cultural sites. We're in Almaty, a city framed by the stunning Tian Shan Mountains. But this isn't just a place of incredible views. It's Central Asia's cultural heartbeat, a vibrant crossroads where history, art, and modern life collide. And the best way to understand the soul of Almaty is to step inside the institutions that guard its memory. Our first stop is the Central State Museum of Kazakhstan, an iconic landmark of Almaty and one of the largest museums of all in Central Asia. It has opened its doors in 1931, and if you want to know Kazakhstan, this is where you should begin. The museum's collection is vast, around 300,000 objects housed across 6 main halls. They map the full sweep of Kazakhstan's history, from its paleontological past and ancient nomadic civilizations to its modern contemporary history. The building itself, covering over 20,000 square meters, remains one of Almaty's finest examples of late Soviet modern architecture. To understand the scale of this place, we spoke with someone who knows every corner of it. Ilyas Orazalin from the Department of Excursions and Visitor Programs.
The history of our museum begins in the first half of the 19th century. In the 1830s, 1840s, from a small local history museum, it has grown into one of the largest museums in Central Asia. Today, the museum holds more than 280,000 items from prehistoric Kazakhstan all the way to the contemporary period.
The star attraction is the iconic Golden Man, a faithful copy of the Scythian warrior covered head to toe in thousands of gold pieces, discovered in the Issyk Kurgan in the 20th century. Among the museum's treasures are also early nomadic gold ornaments, Scythian Saka bronze pieces, and rare documents linked to major Kazakh figures. You'll also find the first issue of Aykhab magazine, the rifle of national hero Imanullah, and personal items belonging to cultural icons like Shukhanov Alikhanov, Kulash Baysiitova, and Ambrey Kashaubayev.
When we talk about the exhibits themselves, many of them hold great historical value. From the first to the fourth halls, there are objects of not only historical, but also archaeological and material significance. The fifth hall is one of the most valuable, combining historical, cultural, and material importance, because it includes rare artifacts dating from the 8th, 7th centuries BC up to the 19th century AD.
For international visitors, access to all 6 halls costs 5,000 tenge, or roughly $10. If you want a deeper experience, you can opt for the full international package, including a comprehensive tour in English, Kazakh, and Russian for 10,000 tenge. A standard adult ticket for locals is 1,500 tenge. Either way, it's a small price to pay for a walk through the history of a nation. Behind me rises the Almaty Museum of Arts, the largest private contemporary art museum in Kazakhstan. It has opened its doors in September 2025, but it's already considered a game-changer for the cultural landscape not only Kazakhstan, but Central Asia. Before you even enter the museum, you are met with this, a work that instantly stops you. Standing 12 meters tall, Nades is by Jaume Plensa, a renowned sculptor whose monumental public works have become emblematic landmarks in cities as diverse as New York, Tokyo, and Rio de Janeiro. Nades depicts the serene head of a young woman, her eyes gently closed. In Plensa's signature style, it radiates quiet introspection, what he calls a portrait of the soul. Designed by the British bureau Chapman Taylor, the 10,000 square meter space reflects Almaty's dual identity, shaped by its mountain landscape and its modern urban life. Inside, its mission is clear: to spotlight Central Asia's artistic voices while engaging in a global cultural dialogue. It is designed as a vibrant hub for future generations, complete with rotating displays, international collaborations, workshops, and a state-of-the-art conservation lab. What makes this museum unique is its origin. It's rooted in the collection of Nurlan Smagulov, which spans nearly 700 of works gathered across the globe over 3 decades, one of the largest contemporary art collections of Kazakh art in existence.
We have Kazakh art, starting from the 40s, but also especially the generation of 60ers, as well as some more recent artists, together in one, space, represented with very important international artists. So there is that dialogue, that bridge, between Kazakh art and international art. And I think for cultural scene of Kazakhstan, for local artists, it's a very important statement that they can be together under one roof.
The collection bridges generations, featuring Kazakh modernists like Toghbolat Toghzbayev, Shaymardan Sarif and Makhtum Khsamedin, alongside contemporary artists such as Rustam Halfin and Saule Suleymenova. This Central Asian dialogue expands with artists like Dilara Kaipova from Uzbekistan and Chingiz Aydarov from Kyrgyzstan, while global connections are made through names like Hadim Ali, Shuzhen, and Jade Fadojutumi.
So I think this moment when we have, people from different kind of museums, from Pompidou in Paris, or from Tate Modern in London, or from MoMA in New York, we cannot undervalue that also, because it does give certain kind of future opportunities. And I think this is one of the idea also of the founder, that Kazakh artists and local artists get different kind of opportunities for the future.
One of the museum's most remarkable features are its artist rooms, immersive spaces dedicated to giants like Anselm Kiefer, Yayoi Kusama, Bill Viola, and Richard Serra. Serra's Junction holds a special significance. It is the last large-scale work relocated with the artist's approval before his passing.
First, it was swimming across the ocean, and then it lands. And then, it lands in the port. And, so it's like Istanbul, Georgia, there is a special map, because logistics was planned for 2 years. Because cars and people need to test it whether these pieces can actually fit, right? So, and this is how it enters the museum.
Serra's monumental steel walls command space. His massive, leaning, curving geometry isn't just something you look at, it's something you physically walk through. This creates distortions that shift as you move, a process Serra called peripatetic perception, where the art is discovered from your own vantage point as you move through the space.
There is this kind of very bodily feeling that the artist creates with these leanings of the walls, and it can feel that you have a certain kind of weight, you can feel certain kind of uneasiness or dizziness, because it also really plays with your balance.
The museum's dedication to global giants like Serra is matched by its commitment to Central Asia's own pioneering visionaries. For its inaugural exhibition, the museum launched with I Understand Everything, the first large-scale retrospective of Almagul Minlibayeva, one of Kazakhstan's most groundbreaking contemporary artists. Spanning 40 years, the show traces her evolution from early painting to video works and her most recent experiments with AI. Minlibayeva's art draws on the myths, memories, and symbolic geographies of Eurasia, weaving history and identity into her personal cosmology. Her work travels from the steppe and the Aral Sea to the Semipalatinsk nuclear test zone and later expands into Kazakhstan geopolitical landscapes.
I think for us, we always try to think about the balance of these programs when we plan the future exhibitions. So how can we at any given time have certain kind of one exhibition hall at least dedicated to Kazakh or Central Asian art, whether contemporary or modern, and then the other hall, at least or several halls, be devoted to either these international collaboration projects, where you have international artists and Kazakh artists or Central Asian artists, or really just an international project.
To see this all for yourself, the museum is open Tuesday through Sunday. A ticket costs 2,000 tenge or roughly $4, with reduced entry for students and seniors. It is one of the best ways to spend an afternoon in Almaty.
Imagine Soviet-era panoramic cinema. This building now has the second life. Welcome to the Tselinny Center of Contemporary Culture, Kazakhstan's first independent cultural institution.
Tselinny opened in the building of the former Tselinny Cinema, a beloved gathering spot built in 1964. Its recognizable form was completely reimagined by British architect Asif Khan starting in 2019, turning the historic landmark into a flexible modern cultural hub. The main hall once held the largest cinema screen in the Soviet Union. Now, it's an 18-meter-high, soaring space that acts as Tselinny's beating heart, a shape-shifting stage for performances and large-scale exhibitions. The public spaces, including the capsula gallery, a library, and a bookstore, form a new cultural ecosystem. This is Almaty's modern Broadway, a place to gather, talk, and create. Tselinny launched its new chapter with BARSAKELMES, an opening program inspired by the nomadic performative spirit of Kazakh culture. This first phase centers on performances, concerts, and events created by local and regional artists, offering audiences a way to rediscover the building. And every week Tselinny becomes a classroom, a stage, and a playground. Among the weekly highlights are guided tours in Kazakh, Russian, and English, and sign language, workshops on digital storytelling, animations, lectures on the history of Kazakh cinema, talks with artists, filmmakers, and researchers, and even community yoga sessions in the main hall. Our next stop is a place that feels like stepping directly into Almaty's memory, a building that has watched the city grow for nearly 150 years. This wooden, one-story landmark is one of the most beautiful surviving works of Old Verny, the city's name until the early 20th century. The museum is located in the former Verny orphanage, designed by the French architect Paul Gaudet. The museum holds more than 40,000 objects, divided into 11 halls. For an entry fee of just 1,000 tenge, less than $3, you gain a full grasp of Almaty's past. Collections range from early archaeological finds, rare documents and fine art, to traditional clothing and numismatic collection. The timeline starts with the region's first settlements 3,000 years ago. Halls then moved to the Kazakh Nade, showcasing the military art and weapons of the era when the nation's statehood began to take shape. The city of Verny Hall offers a glimpse into the 19th and early 20th century home life. The Almaty in the 20th century section explores defining Soviet-era moments, from collectivization and the construction of the Turkestan-Siberian Railway to the years of Stalinist repression. Notably, there is a separate hall devoted entirely to the events of Желтоқсан 1986, when Almaty students and young people took to the streets to protest injustice, a pivotal moment that became a symbol of Kazakhstan's struggle for dignity and self-determination. The quiet of the hall deepens the experience, allowing visitors to feel both the weight of the lives lost and the extraordinary courage of those who stood up for their nation.
And no cultural tour would be fully complete without visiting the Abay State Opera and Ballet Theatre. It's one of the city's top destinations and a jewel of Soviet-era architecture. To learn more about the theatre, make sure to check our recent episode dedicated fully to the theatre. Almaty's museums are not just about art, it's also about history and identity. Whether you're a first time in the city or you're rediscovering your hometown, Almaty's museums are places to feel. If you enjoy this journey with us, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. Until next time.